Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and the Stitchberry podcast. This is episode 25, which is insane, and my name is Grace and I'm a crochet designer. I share all my patterns for free at stitchberryblog.com, so if you love simple, easy, feminine, cottagecore inspired patterns, be sure to check out my blog. And yeah, like I said, this is episode 25 here on my podcast. I like to share about my designs that I'm working on as well as other personal projects, and I do like to knit on the side as well just for fun, so just sharing those projects here as well. So this is going to be a really fun episode. I have several finished objects, some brand new projects, as well as I did a lot of reading over the past few weeks and I'm really excited to talk about that as well. Also, I should probably mention I did make this cardigan. I finished it in the last podcast episode. This is the Lilith cardigan. It is a design by me. The pattern is not out yet. I am working right now on writing the pattern. It's actually mostly finished and it's almost ready for testers, and by the time this episode goes out I will have already chosen testers and things like that. So the pattern is coming hopefully by the end of July is my goal, but thank you so much for your patience. You guys are just so excited about this cardigan and it makes me so happy. So with that, grab a whip, grab a fun little beverage. I have my iced coffee with me, and let's get into the episode with finished projects. So starting off with a really simple finished project, I finished the socks that I made for my dad. I am making these for Father's Day. So let me just show you. They're so big. I think they'll fit him. If anything, they might actually be like a little bit too tight. And the feet. Oh gosh, that actually might be too long now that I look at it. It looks so big, but I just have to keep remembering and telling myself he has big feet. But anyways, these are just a basic vanilla sock pattern. 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I always do 2x2 ribbing, cuff down. I did 48 stitches. I believe I did 20 rounds for the cuff, 40 or 50 rounds for the leg, and then I'm pretty sure I did 50 rounds for, oh yeah, I think I did 40 rounds for the leg, 50 rounds for the foot. Heel flap and gusset. I am using Patton's Croy sock yarn. I did hold it double because I was not about to knit my father fingering weight socks. I mean, just look at how huge this sock is. Like, that was not gonna happen. I used, what needle size did I use? I did use a 4.4 millimeter crochet, or not crochet, knitting needle. So they did work up pretty quickly. They have been my like really easy, mindless project. I've been working on them a lot the past couple weeks, which is why I got these done in like 3 weeks, because they have just been so simple, so easy, and I've just been needing that right now. There's just so much with work and there's just so much going on with other things that I will mention later that I've just been needing a really quick mindless project. So these have been perfect. I, again, was just working on these all the time the past couple of weeks, and I'm really happy to get them done and in plenty of time for Father's Day. So I'm really excited to give these to him. I think he's really going to love them. Obviously, they're not something that he can use for quite a while because it is a very thick sock, but I know that he will get a lot of wear out of it this winter. My other finished project I'm so excited about. So in June is my grandma's birthday, and she's in her 80s, you know, she's older, and she basically already has everything that she needs. But since gift giving is like my top love language, sorry, there's silence. Since gift giving is one of my top love languages, since gift giving is one of my top love languages, I knew that I wanted to get her something for her birthday. She means so much to me. She is a huge inspiration to me, as she has in her lifetime dabbled with every single type of craft under the sun that you can think of, like she's done it. She did garment sewing, she did quilting sewing, she's done knitting, crocheting, painting, just cross stitching, just like literally anything you can think of, she's done it. With homemade gifts, for me, it's really important to really only give homemade gifts to people that really value it and appreciate it. And she loves when I make her something. You know, over the past 10 years, I've made her different things like a pillow, scarf, baskets, you know, all that stuff. And she truly uses everything that I make for her, and she loves it. And she will still bring it up to me like 5 years later of like, oh, I just like love this scarf so much, Grace, and it keeps me so warm, you know, all of that. So she really loves it when I make her something. So with that, I've been seeing a ton of people crocheting flowers this year, and I was like, that sounds like so much fun. That would be the perfect thing to make for her. Just a little bouquet of crochet flowers, I think, is just the cutest thing ever. So over the past couple weeks, I've been working. Oh my gosh, these look so cute on here. They look so good on camera. Some projects, like, they look so cute and amazing in person, but for some reason there's some projects that look even better on camera, and I don't know why, but they just do. So I made 2 types of flowers for her. I did tulips and carnations, and the tutorials and patterns that I used, I kind of used the mixture of several different tutorials. I will have all of those linked down below. They're not perfect. There are some imperfections with these, but you know, it is what it is. So I intentionally chose really easy flower patterns. I hate seaming, like I hate making amigurumi things just because I hate having to make all the pieces and sewing them together and just being so tedious. So I intentionally chose flower patterns that are just so simple, where you just like crochet the tulip and then you cinch it together at the top. And I used like floral wire to attach it. I wrapped yarn around the wire using hot glue, and then I crocheted the leaf to go with it, and there's wire in this to give it some structure as well, and you could even like shape it and bend it, which is really cool. So anyways, here's the tulip. She turned out so good, and again, I used yarn from my stash. Like, that is the great thing about crocheting flowers, is they don't use that much yarn, and so it's perfect for using up yarn in your stash and your scraps. And then here's the carnation, which was not expecting to love the carnations as much as I do. Like, I thought I would like the tulips more, and like they're both equally cute, but there's just something about the carnations that are so flippin' cute. Like, they're just so cute. I will say, these look like they're quick and easy to crochet. They are not. Crochet flowers take a deceptively insane amount of time to make, like especially with these carnations. The last round that you do on these like has over 100 stitches in it, and they low-key take a long time to crochet. I'm also just a slow crocheter, but they take a long time to crochet. And then the assembly, I only made 7 flowers total for her bouquet, 3 carnations, 4 tulips. And the assembly, not the crocheting, but the assembly of the flowers, stuffing them, attaching the wire, doing the leaves, I split it over 2 days, and it took me like 4 or 5 hours to do it. I was so ready to be done with it towards the end, but it's worth it. She's going to love these so much. I'm going to wrap them in brown paper and like put a little bow on it, and so it's gonna be so cute, and she's going to love this so much. So I cannot wait to see her face when I give these to her, because she's like actually going to flip out, and she's gonna love them so much. Okay, I only have one whip right now, like actively, that I'm working on, which is kind of crazy to think about, but let me show it to you. So this year has been, not this year, this past month, several days have just been gift making, which is great. I love it so much, between the socks, the flowers, and then I'm also working on a gift for my friend whose birthday is also in June. So literally all 3 things I've been making are like in June, which is funny. My friend, she wanted a crochet cropped shrug thing. I don't know the technical name for it. So I had some white yarn left over from making the Lilith cardigan, and I've always wanted to crochet one of these, but like I knew I wasn't gonna wear it myself and she wanted white anyways. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity to crochet this shrug for her. So I'm using the cropped trellis shrug by Crabable Crafts. Ashton of Crabable Crafts, she is amazing. I love her so much. Again, I will have the pattern linked down below. And this has been such a fun project to work on. It looks all scrunched up, and this will also stretch out when I block it, but if you just pull the stitches apart, you can see the stitch pattern just so well. It's so pretty, so fun. I love it so much. And again, it's been a really easy mindless project to work on, and it's been great crocheting something that there's already a pattern for, and I don't have to worry about making the pattern myself. So anyways, I did have to adapt the pattern because the pattern calls for, it's either worsted weight or DK weight yarn, but this is a fingering weight yarn that I had in my stash. So I am making the largest size, even though my friend I feel like would be more of like one of the smaller sizes, just to account for using a significantly smaller weight of yarn. I did go ahead with the largest size, and I think it's the perfect length. So not much to say about this. It's a really easy construction, obviously, just because you make one long panel. And yeah, I will have to do more rows just because, again, it is fingering weight, which is not that big of a deal. I want to get this done, but also I'm in a weird place with projects, so it's like I'm also not in a rush to get it done because I don't really have a good project to replace it right now. So we're just taking our good old sweet time with this, and it's been another really fun project to work on. Oh, and I did forget to say that for the shrug, I'm using Drops Saffron in color 72, which is, again, the same color I used for this. It is not often that we have an acquisitions segment in the podcast. I really don't purchase yarn that much, and if I do, it's specifically for designs, and you know, with those I kind of just like cast them on right away or like start them right away. And a lot of that is more of like big box yarn, like We Crochet, Line Brand, stuff like that, and I don't really feel compelled or inclined to necessarily share that all the time, just because they are more well-known brands and big box brands that a majority of people are familiar with. Like if I got, for example, you know, several skeins of Brava from We Crochet, I would assume that a majority of you would know what Brava from We Crochet is, or Woolly's Thick and Quick from Line Brand. So I don't feel the need to like share that type of yarn, which that's been the type of yarn that I've been getting the past few months for designs. But I do love sharing my indie dyed yarn that I get, hand-dyed yarn that I get, just to shout out other makers and their businesses and their beautiful art. So I made my first purchase from Ruby and Roses. I've been following Addie of Ruby and Roses for several years now, and I just haven't gotten around to trying her yarn yet. I'm someone who's on a budget, so I can't afford to buy hand-dyed yarn from every single dyer that I buy, every single collection, and so I really have to pick and choose, you know, what colors really speak to me, or what do I really want to get, and like what will I really use. So It takes me a long time sometimes to try out yarn from different dyers just because I have to be really strategic with how I purchase hand-dyed yarn. And that's also not me complaining about the price. I totally understand why hand-dyed yarn is more expensive because it is a lot of work and you are supporting a small business and someone's livelihood. So that is not me complaining. I just, for myself, just have to be smart with when and how I get hand-dyed yarn. So anyways, when Ruby and Roses announced that she was doing a Taylor Swift collection, I immediately knew that that was when I was going to be trying Ruby and Roses. So I got 2 skeins from her Taylor Swift collection. This first one is called Reputation, and it is so dark, it's just completely getting blown out. Like, it looks black. Oh, there you go, you can see a little bit. So it has just really deep dark tones. It has just like a really moody red undertone, almost purple. There's just so much color depth in her yarn, and it is just so beautiful. But there's just like, I have to like look at it right here to see the color. There's just like deep browns, reds, very moody and very different from yarn that I would normally get. But I love Reputation, and I think that this will make such a cozy winter fall sock. I did order this one on the Rose DK. I am trying to get more DK weight yarn just because I love DK weight socks. Not only are they quicker to knit up, but I do genuinely love wearing DK weight socks. They're just slightly thicker than a fingering weight sock, but they're not too heavy where I get overly warm wearing a DK weight sock. And then I'm like obsessed with this color. I got Willow on her Plump Rose. This is one of the most stunning colors I've ever seen. There's just every color under the sun. I love how it has these more muted colors, but then there's just like some bright electric colors in there as well. It is just so stunning. Another reason why I was so motivated to finish those other socks is when these came in the mail, I knew that I needed to cast this on right away. I need this in a pair of socks right now. I just want to knit with it so badly. I think it'll be so fun to knit with. So I'm probably going to cast a pair of socks on with these in the next couple of days. Also, again, since this is my first time touching and feeling and seeing the yarn from Ruby and Roses, I can confirm this is like some of the softest hand-dyed yarn ever. Like, her bases are just so dreamy. They're so soft. Like, I will definitely be ordering more from her just because her yarn is just so plump and it's just so dreamy, and I cannot wait to knit with it. So as far as news and just exciting things coming, I do have a brand new pattern on the blog, and it is the Kindred Spirits book sleeve pattern. You guys have seen me work on this here on the podcast. Absolutely love how this book sleeve turned out. I still have the pen and the bookmark in here from when I was getting photos of it and just showing, you know, the pocket and utilizing the pocket. But she is so sweet. Again, this is perfect for using up scraps of yarn. And the pattern, it's not a traditional, it's not written in a traditional format where there's specific numbers and stitch counts and rows, because books are every single size under the sun, and so it didn't really make sense to write like a one size knowing that it would fit a very small portion of books. So I write my book sleeve patterns as more of like a formula tutorial on how to customize the size of a book sleeve to fit the book that you want it to fit. The pattern is on my blog. There are a ton of photos to help you make this book sleeve with ease, and yeah, I cannot wait to see all of the lovely Kindred Spirits book sleeves that y'all make. So, and again, anytime you use one of my patterns, please tag me on Instagram. I love seeing what you guys make with my patterns. It truly it just brightens my day every single time. And when this episode goes up, we are in the middle of the Crocheters Summer Reading Cal. So for the month of June, we are crocheting book sleeves and we are reading books all month long. So all of the action with that is happening on Instagram. I'm not going to go into too much detail here right now just because it's already started, but it is not too late to participate. You can find on my Instagram, I have a highlight that says Summer Reading Cal, and all of the information that you need is right there in that highlight. So be sure to check that out if you want to participate in our Cal. It is so fun. There's so many people. I mean, I'm filming this like right before the Cal starts, but there's so many people that are so excited, and this is my first ever Cal, so I'm so excited and I'm just so happy that you guys are excited for this, because it has taken me a long time to get to this point of hosting my own Cal. Just the imposter syndrome and feeling like, well, who would want to join in on my Cal? So seeing all of your guys' excitement just makes me so happy. So I will have the free pattern for this link down below, as well as my Instagram, so you can find all the details to participate in the Cal. And since we're on the topic of books, we can go ahead and I can talk about what I've read. I'm just like in such a book reading mood right now. I go in phases throughout the year where I feel like I have a couple months where I'm just like super motivated to read and all I want to do is read, and then I go through several months of just like a slump of like not wanting to read. I'm not liking the books that I'm reading. I'm not motivated. So right now we're in that like all I want to do is read mode. Like I honestly haven't been knitting or crocheting that much the past couple of days just because I've been reading, which is totally okay. Like I think that's fine. So anyways, I feel like I've just gone through so many books, not so many, several books since I last podcasted. So I feel like I need to go to my Goodreads so I don't miss any. So I started as an audiobook, Becoming Trader Joe, and it's the story of Trader Joe's, the grocery store. Love Trader Joe's. Did not like the book. I finished it and I gave it 2 stars, but it was just not what I thought it would be, and it was definitely like a business book, but like, I don't know, it just felt very pointless. I don't really, it just seemed very unorganized and scattered and all over the place. So gave that 2 stars, you know, read it if you want. And then the next book that I finished is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. So good. I gave this book a 5 stars. I do not give 5 stars to books that often. Like it has to be top tier for me to give it a 5 star. And this one was so good. Like the ending was amazing. It did take me a hot second to get into the book, but I feel like once I got to page 100, then I just flew through it and I loved it. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. It is like a murder mystery thriller type book, but it's not like gory or scary. So if you like that genre but you're not into like the horror or anything like that, like I definitely recommend that book. And then I also finished this week listening to The Dutch House by Anne Patchett as an audiobook again. I listened to this book because it was narrated by Tom Hanks, and I loved this book because it was narrated by Tom Hanks. Like there's something about his voice or something that's just so comforting to read, and just how the book is written in the first perspective? I don't know. First person. I think that's it. And it spans over like 40-50 years of time from when this person was a boy to like when he's a man and like older, and it goes throughout his whole life. And it just truly felt like I was sitting down at a coffee shop and listening to the voice of Tom Hanks just tell me his life story. So it was really, really good. That was another 5-star read for me. It was so good, and I loved every second of that book. And I'm currently reading, I'm about 100 pages in, the American Royals series. So I read the first book in this series last summer, and I just now got around to picking up the second book called Majesty, and I'm actually enjoying this one so much more than the first one. Like the first one, I feel like I got into it really fast, but then I kind of lost steam. It was still good, but like I do remember struggling a little bit to get through it. And I don't know, maybe the same thing is happening, but I just want to read this book, and I feel like I'm enjoying it more than the first one. And I don't read a lot of series, but I think it might be because I'm more familiar with the stories and the characters and the writing and, you know, the storyline. It did take me like the first couple chapters to be like, oh yeah, like that happened, oh yeah, like this is a thing, and all of that, because I did forget quite a bit because it has been a year since I read the last one. But after a few chapters, I was like, oh, I remember now. That all makes sense. So really enjoying that one. I'm kind of hoping to like get through the rest of the series. There's 4 books in the series this summer. That would be kind of fun to finish the whole series like in a short amount of time, so I'm remembering things from book to book. But I don't read series that often, so I don't know if I'll lose steam. Is a really fun concept. It's if, you know, America had a monarchy, had a king and queen, you know, had the whole aristocrat monarchy system that England has, but it's set in modern day. So it's a really fun concept and just like really fun to read. So far I'm really enjoying that one as well. And that is all that I have for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down below in the comments what you are working on, and again, everything will be linked down below, and I will see you in the next video.